Welcome to Lesson 5 of Section 1 in Chapter 1, where we are dealing with computation and numbers. This lesson is about calculating with decimals. Now, a decimal is another way of writing a fraction, right? So you have a point and something after the point. It's a part of a whole. Now, to add or subtract decimals, you simply line up the points and fill in the missing spaces with 0. And this is where the neatness of your work comes into play. As I kept saying, and as I keep saying, your neatness and order in mathematics will help you to figure out what you're doing. So don't have your working all over the place. Neatness and order is part of figuring out how to do the question. So let's look at example 7. It says, work out these decimal addition and subtraction questions. So let's work them out. The first question asked to work out 13.26 plus 5 plus 4.2. So let's line these up. Now, just like we have ones and tens and hundreds and thousands, we have columns for our fractions or decimal fractions as well. So the first column will be tenths, 1 over 10, 1 over 100, 1 over 1,000, etc., etc. Right? This doesn't have any decimal fractions, but this one is in the 1 over 10 script. So that will help us to line it up easily. So 13.26, 5 doesn't have any decimal fractions, and 4 point, and this 2 is in the 1/10 column. 1 over 10 column, right? So now we could fill in the rest of our columns that don't have anything when I put the point for the 5 with zeros. And now we can add 6 plus 0 is 6. 2 plus 0 plus 2 is 4. 3 plus 5 is 8, and 4 is 12. And of course, we have to add 1 to this column. 1 plus 1 is 2. So the answer here is 22.46. Let's look at the next question, which asks us to minus 6 minus 3.24. So let us do that. All right. So 6 minus 3.42. 24, sorry. So 6 minus 3.24. So we could just fill in the point here. There's nothing in our decimal column. So we fill that in with zeros. 0 minus 4. That cannot, so we have to borrow and borrow. I kind of do a shortcut way and I say 10 minus 4 is 6. And since I said 10 here, I'll add 1 to this column and say 3. But I also have to say 10 here. So 10 minus 3 is 7. And since I added here, I will say this is now 4. 6 minus 4 is 2. Now, if that is not clear how I did that, that's just another way of doing that kind of calculation, that subtraction. If that is not clear, and we are not using our calculators, by the way, we are doing it with our brains. If that's not clear, we do it as we normally do it. 0 minus 4 cannot. 0, we can't borrow from 0, so we have to go all the way here and borrow, and this becomes 5. So we borrow 1 from here, becomes 5. So this column is the column next door. I can't go all the way to the last 0. The column next door becomes 10. I have to borrow from that for the next column. So this column becomes 9 and the 1 here. So 10 minus 4 is 6. 9 minus 2 is 7. And 5 minus 3 is 2. So you see, it's the same thing that we get, whichever method we employ, if we borrow or if we just add down here once we add 1 on top. Whichever method you employ, you get the same answer. Use the one that best suits you. All right, so this is how we calculate with decimals.